Hey guys, April here from the Gumboot Garden. Today I wanted to chat with you about an online garden planner called Seedtime. Now, this is a relatively new online website that I found out about around this time last year, but it's really starting to pick up steam this year. There have been a lot of bigger YouTubers like Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm, Kaylee from the Honeystead, and Jill from Whispering Willow Farms that are talking about starting to use it this year. But I just wanted to go through all of the basics and everything that it has to offer since I've already had a chance to use it during my summer season. With Seedtime, the very first thing that I want to mention is that it's completely free, which is awesome. They, of course, offer other versions that are paid, but I'm using the free version and it does exactly what I need it to do and has made my life so much easier this past summer. With your free version, you get a garden calendar where you can put in all of your crops and it automatically tells you when you should be seeding them, when you'll have to transplant them, and when you'll be getting your harvest. They also offer a journal section on here, so any of your summer notes you can add in along with pictures, and you can connect certain crops with it. And then they of course have an online store. So if you are based in the US, you can order seeds. They have seed trays and soil blockers on there. Now with the paid version, they do offer additional resources, and they also give you a 20% off on anything that you buy in the store. But the main thing and the main difference between your free version and your paid version is that the paid version has an online garden planner where you can actually put all of your garden beds in there to scale and add in your crops on the actual beds. So then you can actually see how the layout of your garden is going to look. I have not tried that section of Seedtime yet. From what I've seen and what I've heard, it is really beneficial. I actually do that myself, but I do it on a piece of paper and I draw it all out primarily because I like to do a little bit of drawing. But if you just like it to be easier for you, then the paid version might be what you want to go for, because doing a garden layout is like a must for your summer garden and your winter garden if you're doing a winter garden. If you have a look in here, this is my winter garden all planned out, and I just want to get in here and show you guys how you can set up your crops as well. So this is just a closer look at my garden. As you can see, I'm still harvesting some things in March. Then I'm also direct seeding and seeding things. I'm even transplanting at this point into my winter garden. But I want to go into the settings first, because after you sign up for Seedtime, this is one of the first screens that it's going to show you. So you can put a title on your garden and you can enter where your garden location is. So I just have Auckland, New Zealand in here because that's what where I am located. And when you do that, if you're located in the US, then this will also be automatically put in here. But if you're outside and then you just want to find something that's similar to the US growing zone, so I am in something similar to a 10B. And then if you go down further, it has your garden frost dates. So again, if you're in the US, this will automatically be put in here for you, which makes it super easy. However, I'm not in the US, so I did have to enter my own average last and first frost dates. This is something that you can just type in on Google to find, or Seedtime actually has a resource for you guys that you can find this through them as well. They have a link that you can go find that on. But once that is all set up, then we can go back to our garden. So I'm just going to change this actually to clear this space out. I'm going to go down to next year at this time. And I'm going to pretend that I have a blank slate here. So if I want to go in, I'm going to add a crop. For me, going into a winter garden right now, I might be looking to plant some cauliflower, and maybe that variety is early snowball. I can choose a different color for my crop. A lot of times I like to do it based on the color of the actual crop, or, you know, something that looks familiar. Then we can go down into the advanced settings. The advanced settings is fabulous here. So if you have this in here relative to frost, then it will automatically kind of choose a date for you to start with your seeding. So this is actually not my spring and summer season. That's my fall and winter season of 25, because we're a year ahead now. But it's telling me, you know, it automatically tells me that I need to seed this 14 weeks before my first frost. It's going to be something that I'm going to transplant, and it will be ready to be transplanted in 35 days. It's telling me how far to space those apart, in this case 18 inches, and it's going to tell me we're going to have a mature plant 50 days from our transplanting, and we're going to have a window of harvest of that for 2 weeks. And the best succession spacing might be 2 weeks for us. So it puts all of this information in here for us, which is awesome. So all I have to do is just hit schedule, and it's going to pop up on my calendar. So it actually shows me when to seed. It gives me a window of time here where I should be seeding it here, which means if I seed it within that week, I'll be transplanting it in mid to late March, and then that will give me a harvest at the very start of May. So it's that easy. Seedtime is in the process of adding more than 2,000 more varieties to its planting list here. So if I were to go in here, say, and look for some carrots, because I'll be planting carrots soon, and maybe I am going to be, I don't even know, what was the bolero? Oh, bolero's in there. Rainbows in there. Okay. Napoli, Nantes. Oh boy. Okay, let me think of a crop that they're not going to have. Maybe tomatoes, because tomatoes, there's quite a few varieties of tomatoes that we can put in there. So say we want an indeterminate tomato. I wonder if they have Dr. Witchy's. Yeah, so they don't have Dr. Witchy in here. So that may be something that they could be adding soon, or if you upgrade, you can actually add in your own variety and put in the information that's at the back of the seed packet. But for me, I have not upgraded, so I have been choosing something maybe like, let's see, it's a beefsteak tomato. It's a big one, but it's orange, so I might change it to something like this. And then under the label here, because I know that it's not actually this beefsteak that I want it to be, it's a Dr. Witchy, I've just been putting it here. And then I go down, and in my advanced settings, it obviously has all of these in here automatically for the tomato, for the beefsteak tomato. However, you know, that's not what I'm growing exactly. So on the back of my seed packet, it has all of this information, and I'm just going to adjust it for what I need. And that's how I use the free version when I'm doing this. And then I can just hit, you know, schedule, and it will pop up on my calendar. The other thing that's cool up here is that, you know, on my task filter, right now I don't have the bed preparation or the cultivating turned on, but you can certainly do that. See, that popped up. See, they pop up when I put them on, but you can uncheck as many as you'd like. So a lot of times if I am just worrying about my seeding and my transplanting, which is what I did in the summer, then I just went in here and I just left the seeding and the transplanting on, and you know, I left a week span of when I wanted it to be done. But you can also, once you have planted it, then you might come in here and decide, wait a minute, I didn't actually plant it there. I planted it on the 15th, and I'm just going to bring that back to 1 day. That's where I exactly planted it. And what it will do is it adjusts here. So if I were, or maybe I brought it back and I planted it on the 7th. So if you watch that transplanting, that's going to change as well. Because they're all linked, it will kind of move as my seeding moves, which is awesome. And same thing with the harvesting, because they're all connected, it will adjust my harvest. So you're probably going to want to do succession planting of your cauliflower. So if you look at these little 3 dots here over on the side, if I click on that, it pops up a little bit of a menu. And it gives me the option to either edit that, duplicate it, add to succession, hide or delete it. But in this case, we want to add a succession. So I can just click on that. And when we had originally said that the succession would be every 2 weeks, so this has now popped up showing 2 weeks later that, you know, we're going to have to be seeding our cauliflower again. Once I get that put into soil, then I can, you know, adjust this to the exact day that we planted that on. So when I look back at this either next year or in a couple years time, I can see, oh yeah, I planted my cauliflower here. It did really well. I'm going to do it on the same date again. Or, it bolted, you know, we need to start planting it a bit later. I do tend to keep this on my 12-month schedule. I can also make it so I can see 24 months, and I can scroll down even further. Another thing you can do is you can change the way that you're actually looking at the calendar. So I look at it from the year, but you can look at it as monthly. If you have changes to day by day, then you might want to, you know, print this out. And, you know, if you're only doing a 3-day span or a 1-day span, just have a closer look of when you want to do things, then month might be for you. Or you can also look at it on a timeline. So it just lists your crops over here, and then it shows you kind of when you've got things going on. And I can sort these either by crop, by group, by planting location, seeding date, in-ground date, harvesting date. You can kind of sort it as you would like, which is awesome. Once you have all of your plants in, which obviously this is just one, but if I go back this year, one thing I can do is when all of my plants are in here, I might say, okay, I want to go in here. I don't want the harvesting on. I just want my seeding and my direct seeding on. And I want to print this off because I want to make it easy for me to see what I should be doing each week. So I can actually hit that print button, and it gives me a preview of everything that I was just looking at. And it shows me, you know, this is what I want to be doing each week. And maybe I don't want it printed yearly that way. Maybe I just want it printed for the month and month by month. So what I can do here, I've changed it to monthly, and then if I go in, it's showing me week by week. So this week, I want to have, you know, all of this stuff done. The following week, all of that, you know, and so on. So it's showing me a bit more spread out, and it might be a little bit easier to read. Oh, while this popped up, I do want to show you. So, you know, these are all kind of shaded out here, and that's because I have already planted them. This is from the 6th of February. So they have already been done and are sprouting on my back porch. You can kind of go through and tick off tasks. So, whoops, I haven't done these yet, and it's the 20th, but what you can do is if you were to go in here, you know, my green cauliflower, if I click on that, I can just say, hey, you know, that's all done. I'm going to mark that as completed. And then it will cross off this for me. There we go. And then again, I can adjust that to say, you know, I planted that on not this whole week. I planted it right when I was supposed to at the start. And there it is. If we click over to the side, we can look at the journal. On October 20th, I said plant sooner. Eggplant and some hot peppers need to be planted a few weeks earlier. They grow slower and are very small. Transplanting has been delayed. Although it has been good that the eggplant wasn't ready because it allowed my winter leeks to grow longer in the soil. So I can see here, you know, plant sooner. And then I've put in all of the peppers, the eggplant, watermelon, cucamelon that were affected by that, you know, and it's quite easy. I could add pictures in here too. I could have added a picture in here of how small they still were, but I haven't added pictures, but it's something that you can definitely add in. Lastly, I just want to show you that if you were to pay for the paid version of your Seedtime account, you can go up here and have a look at the garden layout. So you can see on here that you are actually just mapping out your garden, and it's all to scale. It's on a grid. You can map it all out. And then I'm just going to fast forward this a little bit. It's showing you can go in and pick your crops. You're going to put them into your bed, and it shows you exactly how many that you can fit, which is awesome. It's telling you the spacing. You can put everything in there, and it, you can get a really good idea of what your garden is going to look like. And then you can go up there and choose which bed it's in, so you know exactly where it's located and how many plants are going to fit. So it's a really good option to get the paid version, so you can add a bit more detail to what you're doing. As a newbie seed starting gardener, Seedtime has been really, really helpful for me in kind of understanding what plants need to be started earlier, because they take a long time to grow to that transplanting time, or the difference between the crops with how long it takes to get to harvesting. So, and just kind of how it all is placed out on the calendar. So it was really interesting for me to kind of have it automatically be generated for me, and then kind of see oh wait, if I start, if it starts here, it will actually be done on time. So that means I have to start it way earlier than I thought. So it was really good in that aspect. So if you are a new seed starter, it would probably be really beneficial for you guys. But also if you have a huge variety of crops that you plan on planting, it would be a good idea to check this out, so you don't have to do all the work of planning and organizing what needs to be seeded and when it needs to be transplanted and all of that. But even if you're interested in doing a lot of succession planting, because you can just, put in there, it says 2 weeks, or if you want to change it to every 4 weeks, you can, and then it will just automatically do that. And then you can just check the calendar every week. Or if you just don't want to put in any of that tedious work, give Seedtime a go, because it's so easy and it automatically generates everything for you. It's really, really nice. I'll probably be talking about this again as well, because what I want to do, which I haven't had a chance to do yet, is to see how accurate it was with the harvest. I know transplanting was spot on with almost everything in reaching those dates, but I do want to go back in and check the harvest dates as well. So that's something that you'll probably see, later on, either when I'm planning my next summer garden, just exactly how I'm setting up the second year worth of Seedtime crops, and also to just let you know what I found or any adjustments that you might want to make for next year. But as of right now, it has been absolutely fabulous with doing your seed starting and knowing when to transplant. So that's it for today, guys. I will catch you in the next one. See ya.